I'm gonna teach you exactly how to upgrade any Capital One credit card with no hard inquiry. We have two big topics that we need to cover on this video today. Topic number one is going to be how to upgrade any Capital One credit card that you may have with Capital One. Now, a lot of people talk trash about Capital One, saying it's a trap, it's a scam because they give you a low limit and then they never raise your credit limit. Well, there's a lot of reasons why they don't do that, so we'll cover that also. But if you've been stuck with the same credit card with a low limit, maybe it's time to see if you qualify for an upgrade. And I'm going to teach you how to exactly trigger the offer in your Capital One account. And on the bad side, Capital One is in fact closing credit cards. You're gonna wanna watch this till the end because I'm gonna cover a major topic that Capital One is in fact closing credit card accounts on multiple different types of credit cards, but they are also working on a black card for Capital One. So let's go ahead and jump into this video because we have a lot of ground to cover. This is why a lot of you are stuck with those low limit credit cards because you continue to report a balance, even if it's $5, $10. It's not about the amount. It's about the fact that Capital One is in fact, like I said earlier, a subprime lender. They're used to people defaulting. So you have to build up that trust with them. They want to see you reporting zero balance. Don't listen to all the nonsense you hear out there where they're like, oh, you gotta carry a balance. No, you don't. Think about it like this logically. What bank doesn't like someone that doesn't carry a balance? That means you don't owe them any money. They're going to favoritize you more than a person that's carrying a balance because they are high risk. When you're in the credit card game, you have to reduce your risk as much as possible because that's exactly what your credit score is. It is a scale of how risky you are to any lender. So reduce the risk by not reporting any balances. Use your credit card and then pay it off. Use your credit card and pay it off. That's what's going to trigger an offer from Capital One. But if you don't get an offer, I have a link that you can use in the video description. You'll log into your Capital One account. Then once you do that, you'll choose the credit card that you want to see is available for an upgrade. Now, once you click on that, it's gonna tell you, congratulations, this card is available. That's your only offer you have, so it can get you out of that credit card and reestablish a new relationship with that credit card. But the best part about this is it does not close the account. It actually just switches the product out, and that's exactly what we want. I wanna give a special shout out to all my beasters out there that signed up for Dispute Beast and are working hard to fix their credit using the most advanced DIY credit repair software ever created that anyone can use. If you need to fix your credit, link is gonna be in the description because no matter how bad a credit card is, you don't want to close a credit card because it's going to have a negative impact on your credit profile. Everyone's like, just close it. It's who cares? I'm just gonna close it. Yeah, now it's gonna literally drop your score. So all the hard work that you put in, you're gonna drop your score, and yes, your score will start to rebound within 6 to 9 months, but that's a long time. What if you need something? What if you're planning on getting a home or you're planning on getting a new credit card? Now you're gonna have to wait another 6 to 9 months for your score to begin to rebound. You may not see the full rebound in that time. It's gonna take time for your score to climb back up to where it was at because what you did is you ripped away that age of credit from your credit profile and the available credit limit also. So remember, the golden rule is always downgrade or upgrade a credit card, never ever close it. But Mike, what if I have a crappy credit card? That's gonna be up to you to decide. But you have the information to make a well-informed decision now because you understand that, okay, if I close this, there's gonna be ramifications. But guess what? I'm tired of this crappy Credit One, this First Premier, this Open Sky, they're all trash. So you have to make a decision. Close it, take the hit, and continue to move forward. That's what I did because I don't want them on my credit profile because even after you close a credit card, it can stay on your credit report for up to 10 years. Yes, I said 10 years, that's right. Now, generally they will naturally fall off after 7, but they can report up to 10, which is crazy. So when people on social media say, oh, it's not a big deal to get an Open Sky or Credit One or First Premier, it's stepping stones. No, they're full of it because it has a long lasting relationship. Every other lender is going to see that, okay, wow, they got some negative juju here. They got some ugly credit cards on this credit profile with low limits. We want to get out of those low limits and we want to have high limits on our credit profile. That's why it's important to upgrade or downgrade a credit card and then reestablish and build a relationship with that credit card that now you like and you're going to use to your full advantage. And if you don't have an upgrade available right now, go back and work on the relationship for the next 6 to 12 months at max. Wait at the longest 1 full year if you feel that you need to because you're not really using a credit card. Use the card responsibly, and I don't mean go buy things that you don't need, like sneakers and Louis Vuitton. Like, no, don't buy any of that. I want you to use it for your everyday spending, for your cell phone, your car insurance, your groceries, your gas. Use that and then pay it off immediately. Get into the habit of paying off your credit card in full every single month, and that's what Capital One wants to see, and that will help you trigger some type of offer with Capital One to get you out of that crappy credit card. Now, moving on to one of the biggest stories of all, that Walmart and Capital One, in fact, are breaking up. There's been so much turmoil in this relationship. Walmart blamed Capital One blamed Walmart, and then now, well, this is all allegedly, remember, allegedly, everybody, okay? Now, they've decided to part ways, so all of the Capital One credit cards are in fact going to close, but they're going to switch you over. If you are a Walmart Capital One credit card holder, they're going to switch you over to the Quicksilver card, which a lot of people are angry because the cashback rewards were better with the Walmart card. That's the reason why people got it. But unfortunately, you're at the mercy of this credit card company, and maybe, just maybe, you can ask Capital One if you can get the Saver One credit card instead. Say, listen, I don't really want the Quicksilver. Is it possible for me to get the Saver One instead? The Saver One is one of the best cashback credit cards out there. It's the only one that's comparable to the Walmart credit card. So this is the problem that you're gonna have, is if you call Capital One, it may cause a hard inquiry if the offer's not available. But because they're already planning on switching you to the Quicksilver, it doesn't hurt to pick up the phone and call them and ask them, say, hey, listen, I'm totally cool. I'm a huge fan of Capital One. I love all my Capital One credit cards, but I'm really not into the Quicksilver card. Is it possible to get the Saver One instead of the Quicksilver? I would greatly appreciate it if you can help me with this. And say, oh, well, I can't do it. Well, can I talk to a supervisor? Be super kind. Be the nicest person you've ever been. And I promise you'll get really far, but I cannot guarantee there's not going to be a hard inquiry, because sometimes this happens when you call them and try to do it over the phone. Make sure that you change your bell notification from mute to notified so you never miss any of our new content that we drop or when I go live, because you just never know when I'm going to pop up and bring you some more valuable information for free. Now, I'm not going to fearmonger you and say, oh my God, they're going to close all your accounts, but I want you to be aware of what the verbiage says and what it means on the Capital One's website. So Capital One's website notes that it will be sending eligible customers their new Capital One Quicksilver MasterCard on a rolling basis. So not all customers will receive their card at the same time. A Capital One spokesman confirmed that Quicksilver cards will be sent out the beginning of September and throughout early 2025. So it's going to be a slow rollout, because I can imagine there's millions of credit card holders out there that have the Walmart credit card. Now, if you did have it and you have rewards and all that stuff, it's going to transfer over to your Quicksilver card, and that's going to transfer over to cashback rewards also. So there are some people out there that are going to tell you, oh my God, they're going to close your accounts. They're saying eligible. What does that mean? Listen, they have to actually use legal verbiage out there to make sure that they don't say anything wrong. So that's why they're most likely using that word. But be aware that there's nowhere that it says they're going to close accounts or anything like that. No, if they were, they would make the announcement, because they're a financial institution and they just can't put out bad information out there. But understand that any remaining balances on those Walmart credit cards will be transferred to the Capital One Quicksilver Cash Rewards credit card, which has a 0 annual fee and earns unlimited 1.5 cash back on all purchases. So they make sure for everyone to understand out there that they are planning to move those balances over to the Quicksilver card. So people that are out there saying that they're going to close your account because you're carrying balances, they're reducing their risk, that's not why they're closing this credit card. They're closing it because the deal went bad and it went sour between Walmart and Capital One. It's pretty obvious. It was all over the news. It made huge stories. But understand that anyone that is carrying a balance, you're always at risk of your credit card being closed if you're carrying balances for far too long, especially in stressful times in the economy. But they're telling us right now that any remaining balances on those Walmart cards will be transferred to the Quicksilver card. So don't freak out and think they're going to actually close your credit card. But again, full disclaimer, I'm not Capital One, so I don't know what they're going to do, but I want you to be aware of what's going on. But again, it never hurts to ask instead of being stuck with the Quicksilver One card that a lot of people are not a fan of, especially people that have worked hard on their credit. They're like, I don't want the Quicksilver One. It doesn't give me that great of benefits. The Saver One is definitely where it's at. We also cannot ignore the fact of what is truly going on out there. So they closed and canceled any future applications for the Saver credit card. Now the Saver Ones were not affected, only the Saver card. So you can't apply for it anymore. It doesn't exist. Any active card holder was able to keep the credit card, but now they're actually closing the Walmart card. What is truly going on out there in the financial world? Is there a crash looming upon us? Are these banks actually reducing their risk with credit cards that they're not really happy with, or the users aren't that great of users? There's something huge going on here with Capital One, or are they preparing for this Discover Capital One merger that still hasn't happened? Now, there are a lot of stress factors factors across the economy that are going on that a lot of people don't want to talk about. I'm not saying this to freak you out, but it's the harsh reality of it that when you are a credit card holder, you are at the mercy of the credit card company. A lot of people say, how can they close my credit card? It's actually not your credit card. They're letting you use it. That's the thing about it. So whenever we're going through tough economic times, you have to make sure that you're not carrying a balance, because what will happen is a lot of these credit card companies will reduce their risk by lowering your limit until you pay it off. And then once you pay it off, they may close the credit card because they see the stress factors. A lot of people don't understand that a credit card company has access to your credit reports. You actually gave them permission to actually do that continuously throughout the entire relationship while you're with that credit card company. So when you carry a balance with an American Express credit card, Capital One can see it. When you carry a balance with Capital One, Discover Bank can see it. Any credit card company that you have on your credit profile, they can see all of your credit cards and all of the balances that you're carrying. So if they reduce your credit limit, it's because you're carrying balances. Whenever we go through tough economic times, you have to make sure that you're not carrying balances and you're prepared for anything, because if you are carrying balances, you're going to be one of the first people on the chopping block, unfortunately. So moving on to bigger and better news. Apparently, Capital One has filed trademarks for a new card, and the rumor mill is spinning that Capital One is coming out with their own black card, trying to compete with the American Express Centurion black card, which I don't know if that's possible because that's a hard credit card to beat. And let's just be honest with each other. It's all about status. That's all it is, because the credit cards aren't really that great. It's just about having the status of having that credit card that nobody else has. Now, there is a website called the Doctor of Credit. Now, this is where I get a lot of my insight before it even hits the ground and it starts running. And this is honestly where the rumor mills all start. So if you're ever wanting to figure out, any new sign-up bonuses or any crazy information about credit cards, this is the site that you can go use, and it's 100% free. Now, don't click on the ads because there are ads on it, just like a lot of the other websites that I talk about. We'll put it up on the screen right here so you can see it. I love how it says this, rumor. Now, according to a reliable source, Capital One is planning a few things. Now, whenever the Doctor of Credit posts anything, I'm gonna be honest with you, they have never been wrong. So as you can see, there's gonna be new credit card products, increased sign-up bonuses across a number of different credit cards. So at this stage, details are scarce, but the new product makes sense after Capital One discontinued the Capital One Saver card and of course the Walmart card, but that's a co-branded card, so they don't really count that. These are both expected within a month or two. So that's pretty crazy. This article was released on August 5th. That tells us something, but also if we go to the trademark actual website, which is also free, you can go check it out for yourself if you want. Capital One filed trademarks for 2 different items. Now, interesting enough, they filed 2 different ones, like I said. Now, first they filed one on November 15th for Velocity, and then they filed a second one on February 2nd of 2024 this year. So as you may know, a lot of their credit cards are not just one credit card, just like the Venture X, there's a Venture, then there's a Venture One. So there's tiers to every single one of these credit cards. So there's something huge about the drop in the credit card world, and it's gonna be called the Velocity credit card. That's what I'm guessing. I could be wrong. This could be all speculation and all rumors, but just stay tuned because probably right after the summertime is when I'm guessing it's going to possibly drop, or right before the holidays, because a lot of these credit card companies want to get what we call that holiday spend, all those credit cards racking up all those Christmas gifts and Thanksgiving dinners and stuff like that. So make sure you stay tuned because the moment we find out, we're gonna let you know exactly when Capital One drops a brand new credit card, which I'm not gonna be shocked. I think it's gonna be 2, just as I stated earlier. I hope you enjoyed this video. We covered a big one on how to upgrade any Capital One credit card and how to trigger that offer, because that's very important. And of course, the rumors about the new black card with Capital One. Now make sure that you watch this next video because it is about a credit union that you may want to learn about. Now, if you felt that I brought you some value in this video, make sure that you don't forget and subscribe to increase your credit score.